She has the experience of 28 years of teaching UG and PG classes. She has to her credit 3 books and a number of research articles published in various national and international research journals of repute. She is a member of Chhattisgarh English Teacher Association and member of many board of studies panel. She has worked as IQAC coordinator for 8 years. As a research guide, she has 3 research scholars working for doctor degree under her guidance. So now, Dr. Neelu Srivastava ma'am, please, that is all yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Archana ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. Um, Respected, I would like to address Dr. Kirti Tiwari ma'am. She's the patron of ISPL. Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam, the visionary man and the founder of ISPL. The president of ISPL and our mentor, Dr. Harpreet Kaur Garcha ma'am. The convener of ISPL, Dr. Archana Singh. Today's speaker, Mr. Jeevan Sagar. And today's chairperson of the session, Dr. Seema Arora. Today's moderator, Ms. Shrishti Sharma, and all the research scholars, students, faculty members, and all dignitaries present here. A very good evening to all, and I, Dr. Neelu Srivastava, I wish to extend a warm welcome to all of you. I would like to invite our esteemed guests, speaker for today. I wish to welcome him, Mr. Jeevan Sagar, who is pursuing a doctoral degree from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. Mr. Sagar is going to speak on a very relevant and suitable theme for all of us, including students, research scholars, and even faculty members. That is my communication, my strength. As we all know that effective communication is the key to success and it's the key factor for a good personality. When you speak confidently, smoothly, and in a very easy to understand language, all the barriers they disappear and the speaker gets connected to you, and that is the foundation of a very good communication. I'm sure all our participants will be highly beneficial by his erudite presentation today. Now, I wish to introduce Master of Ceremony for today, Ms. Shrishti Sharma. And I feel so proud to introduce her as she has been my student when she was doing her MA in Government Digvijay College. Ms. Shrishti Sharma, she is working as a lecturer in English at Swami Atmanand Government English Medium School, Dongargaon. She has done her schooling for Wesleyan English Medium School and Royal Kids Convent School, Rajnandgaon. She pursued her higher studies in English literature from Government Digvijay Autonomous PG College, Rajnandgaon. In 2015, she started her career as a guest lecturer in Government Baba Bhimrao Ambedkar College, Dongargaon. And later, she became a part of Kamala Devi Rathi Girls College, Rajnandgaon. She was also invited in government horticulture and agriculture colleges for language teaching. She has been awarded as the Best Teacher Award in 2017. I feel so proud, Shrishti.
Thank you,
Taking into
ma'am.
consideration her devotion for teaching and her keen interest in extracurricular activities in college. I would like to add something more that Shrishti is not only a very good scholar, but also a very good artist. She is a wonderful performer in dance and many other activities. So now over to you, Shrishti.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am, and good
Very
evening
good
to
evening.
all the dignitaries present here. Thank you so much, Nilo, ma'am. You have always my motherly figure, as I always say, and I'm so glad to have you as my mentor. So, thank you for my introduction. Yes, so uh, And I'm also thankful to ISPEL for giving me this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to be with all of you. And today we have very renowned speaker among us, Mr. Jeevan Sagar, sir. So I would like to give his introduction. Uh, Mr. Jeevan Sagar is a graduate in arts and an ME in English literature from Durga Mahavidyalaya, Raipur, from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, with a merit rank. He qualified UGC NET in July 2015. He has as well done BEd from IGNU and PGCT from EFLU, Hyderabad. At present, he is pursuing his doctoral studies from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. Prior to joining HNLU, he had been an assistant professor in Government Engineering College, Jagdalpur, under Directorate of Technical Education. He has also served as a lecturer in the Department of Education, Chhattisgarh, a teacher trainer, and an assistant professor in St. Vincent Pallotti College, Raipur. He has attended various cascade seminars and conferences on teaching language, teaching, sorry, teaching organized by the British Council, Cambridge University Press, and EFLU. So, sir, pleasing to have you among us, and it's our great pleasure that today you are our keynote speaker. So, without wasting the time, I would like to hand over the mic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that welcome note, Madam Moderator. With an honorable mention of revered Professor G.A. Ghanshyam and Professor Kirti Tiwari, the very founding stone and sculptor of ISPEL, respected President Dr. Harpreet Garcha, respected Chairperson of today's discourse, Dr. Seema Arora, respected Event Coordinator, Dr. Neeru Srivastava, all the distinguished office bearers of ISPEL, all my senior professors who have joined this August gathering today, all my valued teaching fraternity, and Madam Moderator, Ms. Srishti Sharma, and dear audience. Good evening to one and all present here on and off the virtual days. At the very outset of this discourse, I express my cordial gratitude to ISPEL to have me invited to this deliberation. I feel very elated and honored to be in the thick of such, learning-oriented people. ISPEL, as it is created and christened, I consider this endeavor as a learning and growing space of us, for us, and by us. I have branded today's discourse as My Communication, My Strength. So I would directly go to my slides. Madam Moderator, may I ask whether my screen is visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. So, as I told you that the title of this presentation is My Communication, My Strength. You can see the repetition of the word my. My is a possessive pronoun, as you all know, and it shows, it denotes ownership. So I own my communication, and how my communication affects my life as well as others. I'll try to, navigate through few of the areas. And in the beginning itself, I would like to make a disclaimer that it is more of student oriented, and definitely we as faculty members need the power of communication, so it may serve certain purpose. Because I thought of taking such a topic of literature and all, then I thought it would be a kind of thing for the class. Rather, I wanted to think of something for the mass, so I chose this topic. Well, When we look at this particular slide, there are three consecutive pictures. They are the signs, they are the signifier. And what do they signify? So if you can see the cursor, right, the first signifier signifies plan and preparation. The second one, performance. And the third, reward. It has a very straight connection with our communication. So, coming to establish this connection, I would like to, show you this particular picture. This is, as you all know, the picture of an iceberg, right? So only the 5% of the iceberg is visible to us. The 95% of it is submerged, right? It is hidden. We can't see it. Similarly, what we communicate is just the 5% of our personality. It is the outcome of a thought process, of a deliberation, right? Which is hidden. Sometimes, of course, there is no thought process, no preparation, and we see the result of it, right? But of course, for a very good performance, there is a preparation. So there we see that performance and preparation are proportionately connected. So I would like to start with an anecdote. This is a figure which you all know. This is the picture of Woodrow Wilson. He was, known for his oratory and eloquence. And when he used to speak, people would, listen to him. They would be all ears to him. So a member of the cabinet once asked him, "Sir, what's the secret of your pithy, witty, short speeches? It is all arresting." So he replied, "It depends. If I'm to speak 10 minutes, I need a week for preparation. If 15 minutes, 3 days. If half an hour, 2 days. If an hour, I'm ready now." So if Woodrow Wilson says this, then we can understand that what's the meaning and what is the importance of preparation. Well, so as we all know, we have been reading, we have been studying, we have been taught the meaning of communication. That yes, meaning is a kind of matrix of sender, encoding, message, decoding, receiver, then feedback, right? So we all know what is the prefix and what is the stem of this word, and we come to a conclusion that coming together on single page. That's the meaning of communication, that what your symbols are also like what your symbols are also mine. What you mean, so do I. So that's the meaning of communication. So basically, if we ask an early learner what is communication, then we normally get the answer, yeah, communication is the expression of a thought or a production of thought. Whereas, let us try to reject this particular notion that it is just expression and just the production, right? Communication should be, in the very first place, the reception and the comprehension. If we understand the meaning of the reception and comprehension, then we are a notch higher than others in the pedestal of communication. So, communication is an act of meaning making by both the parties, the sender and the receiver. So, as a language teacher, you all know that it is a composite of LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, a kind of, say, um, receptive skills and productive skills, a set of receptive and productive skills. Basically, I would be focusing on the language part. I'm not focusing on the body language or other paralanguage part. So I would like to make this disclaimer that the discussion would flow in the direction of language. So, how do I establish that my communication is my strength? Right. So, for being an effective communicator, I need to be a better receiver. That's the first condition, right? So here we must try to understand the, what to say, binary, that hearing vis-a-vis listening. Hearing is something like very biological. It's a biological act, physiological act. Whereas listening is an active, voluntary process. It's an active, voluntary process, mental process. Similarly, decoding versus reading. When, just to give an example of it, a couple of days back, my son was trying to, uh, look at a word, and he said PHOTO, photo, then SYN. Then he somehow pronounced this word as photosynthesis. So he was able to decode it. He did not know the meaning of it. Had he known the meaning of it, he would fall into the category of reading. So that is the difference between decoding and reading. So how many times it happens that we just stop at the level of decoding? Reading is meaning making. If I understand the meaning, yes, please. Sure, sure. Could you let
And
me?
moreover, Indrani, one thing more I wanted to say, that can this slide be shown at a bigger level? I mean, on the whole screen, or
Yeah. Yes.
okay,
Just
okay.
just a second. Uh, is it fine, ma'am? Now, wait a second. Wait a second. I need to just share it. Second.
Yes, sir. Better, better.
Visible now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is fine now.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a live example of technical barrier. Yes, fine. So we all know the difference between hearing and listening, then decoding and reading. So decoding is the beginning of our learning, and reading is a kind of achievement, right? So here we proceed with that. So when I talk about the role of a communicator is always in the dual role. He is not just he or she. I would like to try to be gender inclusive. So whenever I say just he, it is asexual. It includes both the genders. So kindly understand that word as a gender inclusive. So we are not just senders, we are sender come receiver. So that way, our responsibility as a communicator is much more higher. And I would like to carry forward the discussion with a kind of analogy that uh, there is a kind of similarity between the brain and the CPU, right? People would say that CPU is just like a brain or otherwise, right? Because we have some input, then there is a processing, there is an output, and there is a feedback. Same thing happens in our brain, same thing happens in communication. So why I come to this slide is just because of this particular word input. This input really plays a very crucial and vital role in our communication. Now, I'm just collecting some ingredients, what to be cooked, then we would start cooking, right? So these are just the ingredients I'm talking about. Then I come to one word, SWOT. As you all know that SWOT is basically the acronym of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, right? So strength and weakness, these are our internal elements. They lie within us. And opportunities. And as a person, as an individual, I cannot, control the opportunities or threats because they are external elements. I have the control on only two things: my strength, my weakness. It is I identify what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. So I maximize my strengths and I minimize my weaknesses. So that's how my opportunities grow and threats diminish. Now, coming to the what to say slide, my communication becomes binary. Either it is positive or negative. Of course, we can have a feeling that yes, it's somewhere in the between. But basically, let's try to be little binary because it gives us an honest picture. It creates our identity, either positive or negative. It becomes our asset or liability. It creates a win-win situation or lose situation. Either they are building blocks or stumbling blocks. Now, when I talked about SWOT analysis, so as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a communicator, my focus should be on my strength. As the strength grows, the weakness part will, start diminishing. So how does my communication become my strength? So it becomes my strength, and it creates a kind of it becomes my unique selling point. If it is my strength, then it is a USP for me. uh, it is such a soft skill that creates a better personal and professional relationship, which I really don't need to talk about. Then it always helps us to negotiate solutions because we have better emotional quotient. Then we all must have noticed that the common factor among all the leaders, is that they have good command on language. They know the empathetic language. Then whether we are a leader or a member of a team or a delegate, communication, the gut level communication, the candid communication is a kind of non-negotiable thing. Then many a time, despite our best efforts, we fail. So communication is something like a fresh beginning point for something better. Uh, Many of you must have watched the uh, web series Game of Thrones, though it has a lot of explicit content. But I did a kind of character analysis, and I found this person, Tyrion Lannister, like he was, he would always find himself in soup, and at towards the end of the episode, we find that yes, this man is going to die, but he would just raise his hands and he would say, "Let's talk." Right? He would talk and he would negotiate, and we know that the people who were very powerful, they all perished, and towards the end, those people who we thought to be very weak, broken, and nobody, they survive and they reign. So our communication is a kind of penknife. I'm trying to bring a kind of simile or metaphor that our communication is a penknife. It has many things. It can perform many things. So coming to the linguistic part or the language part of communication, Margaret Atwood goes on to say that war is what happens when language fails. What a powerful statement, right? Uh, this is the power of language, which we sometimes either do not recognize or do not realize. Now, Aristotle, in his book Rhetoric, he talks about three elements of persuasive speech. Like when he started academia, he wrote on what to say, the main gate, that let no one enter academia without the knowledge of mathematics. So in his words, mathematics was basically logos, logic, right? So when he started training people, right, he talked about three elements. One is ethos, pathos, and logos. So ethos is credibility. Who speaks, right? Ethos talks about authority. Then pathos, we all know that it is about the human emotions, and logos is basically logic, the reason. I would like to bring into example the incident or the episode of killing of Julius Caesar. You see that Julius Caesar has been killed, and the people are just standing outside, and Brutus knows that, yeah, it's something like if I do not convince people of this assassination, people are going to kill us. And you all know what happens thereafter. He stands in front of the people and he says that, yes, listen to me for my honor. So he establishes that I am an authority, I know. And he, moves the people with he plays with their emotions. Who is so wild here who would not love Rome, who would like to be slave? This is how, with his rhetorical questions, he moves people. And, with logic, he uses so many, rhetorical questions and other reasons to convince people. And at the end, people are fan of Brutus. It's altogether a different story that Marcus Antony came up with a superior speech, superior rhetoric, and what happens to that is well known to all of us. So these are the people. Just for an example, right? I do not have any kind of political bias or a kind of liking for a particular political party or ideology. I'm just taking these people as examples that when they speak, right, we listen. If I start speaking on philosophy or I start speaking on cricket, how many of you would listen? But when Harsha Bhogle comes and he speaks, then yes, we are all ears, because he is an authority, right? Well, these are some other examples of Robin Frey or Chimamanda Adichie. Then, of course, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. These are the people who had the authority, right? And they knew the how to move the emotions, and they used the logos. That's why they are master orators. Then now, when I say my communication, my strength, and I made a claim that to be an effective communicator, I need to be a good receiver. So how does that happen? So from the language point of view, I should be very particular about quality reception. So how does that happen? I must be very particular in the choice of quality audio material, right? So when I choose any and every material, then I'm not going to benefit. I need to, yeah, of course, listen to everybody, but it should be my choice, right? So the quality reception, it it uh, it makes us street smart. First thing, of course, like we get some ready-made and cooked material. Like if these people say, they come with a lot of preparation, they speak out their experience, and that experience becomes our asset. Clear? So listening to these people is not just a kind of treat, it's an experience. It's a reward. Then another receptive skill, which we all know, is reading. So quality reception also includes reading. So we all know this particular axiom that readers become leaders. So we must also distinguish among the three words: reader, bookworm, or bibliophile, right? So we must try to be reader, right? So again, bringing Tyrion Lannister into discussion, a mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone, right? So we need constant feeding, constant nutrients for our brain, because this is the only tool through which we communicate. So be it dailies, be it magazines, be it books of any kind, we must hear, like I just asked couple of students few days back, do you read books? So they said, yes sir, we read books. What do you read? The student said, sir, I read political science, I read sociology. my I said, dear students, those are textbooks. So we should distinguish between textbooks and books. So books of any kind, books on any topic, right? Why do we need them? Why do we need variety of books? As all the nutrients of uh, all the nutrients cannot come from one particular source. We need vitamins, we need carbohydrate, we need fat. They do not come from one particular source. They come from various other sources. Similarly, our understanding of the world, our understanding of the political scenario or sociological scenario or our life do not come from one particular source. That's why we should we should not constrain, we should not narrow down our area of reading to one particular segment. It should not be just history, it should not be just philosophy. Otherwise life would look very dull and dry, right? So like that. Apart from these two receptive skills, we must also we must also take care of another very important aspect, is quality referencing. Most of you are like I believe that most of the participants are students or research scholars. So quality referencing is something, is a kind of great investment for a wonderful future. So how, where and how do I do this? So I must be very choosy. We must be, I should not be using this word. We must be very particular. This is the appropriate word I was looking for, right? So, a couple of days back, a student came to the teacher, right, and said, "Sir, you have marked me wrong." And the word was yours sincerely. Then the student had written your apostrophe s, then sincerely. Then the teacher said, yes, this is wrong. So that student had brought one guidebook and said, sir, in this guidebook, it is written like that. Yeah. Then the teacher had to give a kind of explanation that this is a non-standard book. You have to, follow the standard sources. So as a teacher of English, as a as a learner of English, I should be conscious of my library, what kind of collection I have. So though slow, though little, but it should be quality collection of books, and not just collection. You know, by keeping all these good books under as a pillow will not work. It will not work for me. So they need to be referred to. They need to be made friends. Then here I would like to bring your attention to this wonderful unique feature. This is something like I came across maybe not very long, 3 or 4 or 5 years back. So like there has been generations of learning and teaching English. Like when our teachers taught, they said, yes, Ren and Martin is the gospel. It's the sacrosanct book of grammar and like that. But the present generation of the students learn English through the primary sources. They watch English movies, they watch Hollywood movies, they watch programs from BBC, and they have a kind of first-hand material of language. So if you ask them anything about grammar, not many students would be able to tell you the rules of grammar, but they use very wonderful English. So as a learner, I should also develop my skill. And for an example, the collocation. It's a freebie, it's a free free program in internet. Like if I wish to know that what are the proper adverbs which go with agree, then which are the proper adverbs, what are the proper prepositions which go with it, right? So in one particular place we get all the details if we go to the collocation dictionaries, right? So this is the beauty of quality referencing. We don't need to go to the traditional dictionary, right? Of course, they are required. We need the meaning, but about how to use them, it is a really wonderful treasure trove. Then, Cambridge University Press has come with customized kind of study material. Like I have used one copyright material here. This is one page from English Vocabulary in Use by McCarthy and Odell, right? So you see that on every small, one topic, there would be one small tutorial of one page, and the headwords would be highlighted, their meanings would be there. At the back pages, we can see the pronunciation, and immediately after that, there is a kind of exercise. Yeah. So the tutoring is there, the tutorial is there, and the exercise is there. That's how with this small little exercises, it's just like gymming. It's going to the gym every day, and that's how we get wonderful muscles. So similarly, this kind of quality referencing give us and reward us with a flawless expression, to the point expression. Here is another example of the same. Like, it is also one page from what to say, I believe it is from the same book, English Vocabulary by McCarthy and Odell. I have the copy of it. This is the one. So every day I try to read a page of it, and I try to do the exercises, and I feel, yes, I'm ready for today. Then apart from all these things, one very important area is that quality listening response. How does my sender feel that I am the part of the conversation, I am the part of the discourse, right? So the kind of response I choose, the kind of response I give really creates the communication a fruitful one. So we must try to focus on certain areas like short responses, agreement or disagreement, addition to the remark, question tags, clarification, exclamation, expression, appreciation, and positive reinforcement. All these things add to the conversation, and they make the communication live and participative, right? And wherever there is a requirement or there is a need of apology, to apologize is not being small. It really creates confidence and a kind of rapport between the speaker and the listener. And of course, this is a magic word which we all know, and it really creates wonders, and it will create wonders. Then Aristotle, as he talked about, ethos, pathos, and logos, right? He also talks about one more dimension, that is kairos, that is the time dimension. So here he focuses on the very thing that know the occasion, right? Know your target audience, know your content, right? So what would be the level of formality? This is one very important aspect, that when I say sit, take your seat, please be seated, may I request the dignitaries to have their respective seats on the dais, please. The core or the kernel of all these sentences is the verb sitting. But how do we say it, right? One is a kind of instruction or a command. Another is just a kind of, okay, wonderful proposal, right? Another is request, and another is a kind of heightened request. Then similarly, we can also say yeah, we can say yes, we can say yep, right? So what level of formality I choose? If it is a formal occasion, then of course we have to stick to the level of formality. When it is very casual or informal kind of conversation, then there is no such limitation. Then appropriacy, if we choose the appropriate addressing, if we know the proper protocol, then we have won half the battle. Like I teach in a law university, so we teach the students courtroom communication, like how to address a judge, how to address a fellow counsel. So these are all like this kind of appropriate or proper addressing make the life easy in the workplace. Then the part of our paralanguage is intonation. It really carries a lot of volume. It really carries the intention of the speaker. So mastery over the intonation is a kind of non-negotiable thing. Then when I say communication to be effective, the very first thing is plan. However small it is, even if it is a classroom delivery, even if it is a small speech, even if it's a kind of what to say, short gathering, and we have to just address, maybe scribble few things, and little bit of preparation, little bit of collection of quotes, little bit of what to say, borrowing from some great poets. This kind of preparation is really must for us. Then practice. This is something like when I look at the success of many orators, they practice. You must have heard the legend that Amitabh Bachchan used to practice in front of the mirror for hours, right? So if that's a legend, then it is worth doing. Then you have the occasion, you perform. And one thing added to all these aspects is the self-assessment feedback. When I take a kind of feedback in whichever form, I look at the response of the audience, I look at the appreciation or satisfaction or dissatisfaction or disagreement in the eyes of my colleagues or my students, then I must note them down. I must try to figure out, was my content not proper? Was my delivery not proper? What were the areas I can really improve upon? So it's a lesson for the further, okay, and the next occasion, because this is not the last communication I'm making. But at the same time, as the old axiom says, we never get a second chance for the first impression. So if you create an impression, then it's really very difficult to change that perception. That's why in the very first place itself, we should be well prepared. Then the communication should work as a win-win situation, because winners think and speak, losers speak and think what they have spoken. And be a proactive communicator. It sounds little didactic, but these are few things which we cannot overlook. When I say proactive communicator, we are always very quick to give a kind of response, right? So if the communication of the sender is a kind of stimulus, then I have still some time to choose my response, right? I read an incident a couple of days back wherein there was one old man and a young man used one F word. So when the young man had used that F word, he was a little aghast. Like, why on earth I should have used that word? But the old man said, one F word, I know two F words. It is, I forgive you and I forget it. So that's the sign of a proactive communicator. And it is just like we create a win-win situation by communicating. So what is the meaning of a kind of creating win-win situation? If somebody says, sir, mujhe aapse kaam hai, that means he wants me to do his work right then and there. And perhaps I have some other fish to fry at that particular time. So that's a kind of win-lose situation for like it's winning situation and losing situation for me. He could have said, sir, may I have a word with you? I have some urgent. So I give a kind of time. Yes, after 5 minutes. So his work is also done, and I'm also at peace. So this is something like a common sense, but common sense is not common for common people, as the axiom goes. So it is a matter of practicing now. Then another important aspect is practice empathy. Of course, it's a part of what to say, 7 C's of communication, you all know. Then if we have done all these things, so it becomes our confidence. We wear our confidence, it becomes our skin. So it becomes our image. How do I strengthen my communication? By rhetorical questions, by some kind of analogy, bringing in some facts, bringing in some anecdotes, bringing in some quotes, introducing some good humor, right? To laugh with, not to laugh at. Okay. And these are big no. Sarcasm. Please avoid sarcasm, obscene remark, right? It can be, entertainment for somebody, but it can be derogatory. It is derogatory, and it is insulting for somebody else. So no, big no. Then backbiting, rumors, bad humor, creating bad jokes, cracking bad jokes. These are some negative and minus points of our communication. They become my communication, my weakness, instead of my communication, my strength. So we all know that what are the 7 C's of communication, but it's not just enough to know them in theory. They all work. They show their effect. Only put it into exercise, put it into praxis, put it into our real life situations. So yes, these 7 C's of communication, and we put them into effect. Then, before I conclude, I would like to take you to that particular movie, Chandni Chowk to China. Then he says, मुझे उन 10,000 मूव से खतरा नहीं जो तुमने एक बार प्रैक्टिस किया है. मुझे उस एक मूव से खतरा है जो तुमने 10,000 बार प्रैक्टिस किया है. So my focal point would be practice. When I practice something twice, thrice, maybe more and more, then it becomes my asset. Then that asset becomes rewarding. That asset becomes a kind of fruitful thing for me, and it creates a kind of royalty for me. It yields royalty for me. So, with this, I conclude my talk. I tried to, some of the things in the limited time. And if I have exceeded, my sincere apologies. And I would like to express my cordial thanks to Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, and Google Images, and other sources from where I have borrowed the things. And hereafter, I would be really happy if you could raise your questions, if you have any questions. I hand over the baton to Madam Moderator, Srishti Sharma ma'am, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, as today's topic is so beautiful, and you have beautifully covered it with your expertise and made it more informative. And you have touched so many aspects that is unknown to many of us. And the line which you have mentioned, sir, readers become leader, is very motivational. I think that a student must follow that, because nowadays, even in school, because I'm teaching from last 2 years in a school education, so I felt that students don't want to read good books nowadays. They are much more involved in social media and other platforms, which is, I think, not useful for their future as well. So this line is really very motivational. And I would like to add that the references you have given regarding books and authors, they are highly useful. Thank you for sharing your slides, and they are very informative. Thank you so much, sir. So,
So
Neelu ma'am,
yeah. Sir, I would like to thank you for such a well structured and well communicated session to all of us, sir. We were all spellbound, and you have really covered so important areas of communication. And I'm sure that all our students and all the participants who are present here in this session, they must have learned a lot from your deliverance. And we would love to hear more about from you, sir, in some other another session. And there are some one query I can see here. This is by Sandeep Verma. Sir, he has asked, how do we incorporate logos into a speech? This is
Uh,
Sandeep Sharma is here.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Logos is basically being logical. Uh, if I'm saying something, it should have proper reasoning. If I'm saying yes to something, why it is yes, and if I'm saying uh, no, then why it is no. One very simple example: if my child asks me, "Papa, I want to go out," and I know that it's dark outside, it's raining outside, uh, then I have the reasoning that it's dark, maybe insects are outside, maybe scorpions are outside, maybe a stray dog is inside, maybe the surface is slippery, you may fall down. So these are my reasoning. So on the basis of all this reasoning, I say no. Then it's basically applying logos. So similarly, in our life also, there are many a time we have to negotiate many things. We have to say yes to many things. We have to say no to many things. So if you have proper logic, then it's life saving.
So does logo imply logic here, sir? Or I was thinking logo is something, some logo is given to a particular brand like that.
No, no. Logos in itself is a Latin word, sorry, Greek word,
Okay,
which means it's a
logic.
stem. So from here only we get the word logic, and
Okay,
to say
okay,
syllogism, logic, all these things come from that
okay.
particular word.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yes.
please don't confuse between the plural form of logo or mono, like logos,
Ah,
and
Yeah,
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 right.
exactly,
actually,
exactly.
and thank you for clearing this. Actually, I was thinking the same before that.
Yes, yes, yes. So both, like ethos, from there only we get the word ethics and
Hmm.
authority, right? Then ethos, from there only we get the word like sympathy, empathy, ecological, yeah, like that. Logos is logic.
If any other query is there, if anyone wants to ask anything to Mr. Jeevan Sagar, sir, yes, go ahead, Shrishti.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Uh, So today, after listening such a power-packed session from Jeevan sir, now I would like to invite our chairperson, Aurora ma'am is with us, right? Neelu ma'am?
Ye- Yes, ma'am. I'm there.
Yes, yes, she's there.
Okay. Um, so as like Jeevan sir, she has so many feathers in her head. So I would like to introduce our chairperson, Dr. Seema Arora ma'am. She is currently Associate Professor and HOD English at Sri Shankaracharya Institute of Professional Management and Technology, Raipur. She obtained her PhD in English in 2018 from Dr. C.V. Raman University, Kota Bilaspur. She has published research papers in national and international journals and has participated in various seminars, conferences, and webinars. She has attended faculty development program conducted by AICTE and NPTEL and has taken up more courses run by Swayam, Coursera, and Udemy. She has teaching experience of more than 25 years, and she teaches English communication skills and value education to undergraduate students. She is a soft skill and personality development trainer. The author is expert in communication skills and has hosted a number of programs. Her research interests includes Indian English literature, blended learning, and ICT approach in teaching and learning of English. So I would like to hand over the mic to ma'am. Seema ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
can you
So, good
proceed
evening, everyone. Yeah. Am I visible now? I suppose I'm
Yes, ma'am.
visible as well as.
Yes.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
learned members, it's my good fortune to be present here for this session. Let me start with the comment, sincere comments. I mean it when I say with the magic words, thank you, Jeevan sir. You said, no, we should use the magical word, thank you. You have really won the battle. Uh, your discourse on my communication and my communication, my strength has really, you have just proved it. Yes, your communication is your strength because your discourse, your presentation has been well tailored. It showed the mastery, the homework which you have done, and how wonderfully you made us all realize that communication is really your strength because you have incorporated everything. It is a full, wholesome, enriching meal for all of us. We relished it a lot. You included anecdotes, photo, syn, right? So you had anecdotes, you had analogies, you had facts, Chinatown film, right? And then further, you had also included a number of maxims, quotes, which made us understand that your communication is your strength. Let me just sum up what you deliberated in your discourse. You said that communication is that one thing which binds us together. As we are bound to, as we are connected with you, we have developed. We have never met each other, but in the afternoon when I called you, I really felt connected because the voice which you have. That is the first thing which connects you to any other listener. So this is remarkable, right? So you touched upon various elements which are the realities of good communication. You said that communication is expression. Really, if you express well, you touch the heart, and that you have done. Because touching the mind is okay, but touching the heart goes a long way. Now, everybody is going to remember who Jeevan Sagar sir is. He has filled our Sagars here with a lot of knowledge. Really. So you said that communication is expression, it is production of thoughts, wherein the first and foremost thing is reception and comprehension. Say, for instance, I'm the chairperson here. I have to summarize what Sir had said. But if I'm not a good listener, I'm not good receiver, will I be able to say anything? No. So a good listener always makes a good speaker because we need to, as Sir said, we have to work on our receptive skills. That is listening and reading. Then only we can produce something in the form of reading and writing and speaking. So I'm able to speak now because a lot of material has been provided by Jeevan sir to all of us. Further, he talked about difference between hearing and listening, and what is the difference between decoding and reading. He said that reading is making meaning, but decoding is beginning of learning, and reading is achievement. Because when you read a lot, when you listen a lot, you are filled with thoughts, ideas. The ideas multiply. That is the magic of the receptive skill called listening and reading. Further, he said that a communicator has a dual role to play. You not only have to send a message, you have to receive it, understand it, and then further the communication process, because it is as he said, giving the analogy of brain and CPU. The more your brain is filled with ideas, the better your communication will be, right? Further, he also mentioned about the SWOT analysis. That is, he talked about the strengths, the weaknesses. We have to control over our strengths, right? And subdue our weaknesses. The more we work on our strengths, as his presentation showed that, yes, he has worked on his strengths, right? Because the strengths maximize I should say that he put it in a way that the more you practice, the more you fill yourself with ideas, you are maximizing your strengths and diminishing your weaknesses. Further, he also brought about, he said that my communication is my binary, right? Because it creates your identity, a win-win situation for you. The better you communicate, you can cast an impression. Let us talk about, take the example of Narendra Modi ji, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, Barack Obama, right? How do they create a spell on us? It is only and only through their communication. They are great readers. They are good readers, right? So further, he said that he talked about unique selling price. A person's unique selling price is what? His communication, his tongue. It doesn't mean that you say anything and it will go. No. Whenever you say something, you say sense. The takeaway should be very good, as today the takeaway from Jeevan sir is there for us, right? And he also said that you create a personality of yours if you are a good communicator. You need to make use of proper words. It enhances your negotiation skills. It makes you a good leader, because good leaders are always good communicate. That's what makes them a good leader. And further, he talked about when we make use of word, choice of words should be very good. Our communication should be candid communication. He brought out the fact. Further, he also mentioned that fresh beginning starts with better communication. Communication is a way for fresh beginnings. It is the way, it is the one thing which connects, which binds you with other people, right? Further, he also mentioned about the Game of Thrones, the web series. He not only talked about what you call it, the language part. He also touched upon the vocabulary part, choice of words, right? Further, moving ahead, he talked about the Aristotle's book Rhetoric, where he mentions 3 elements of persuasive speech: ethos, which now why did we listen to Jeevan sir? Because we believed in him. Credibility, हम उसी को सुनते हैं जिस पे हम विश्वास करते हैं, सबको नहीं सुनते ना. So जिस पे विश्वास करेंगे, so credibility. Pathos, emotions. As I said, a good speaker not only touches your head, he or she touches your heart, right? So ethos, then logos, logic. Logos also means your words, your perceptions, your thoughts, your principles. That is also logos, right? And kairos, that is the time factor which he talked about. And quoting the example of Julius Caesar, he tried to explain this the 3 elements of persuasive speech. And then further, he mentioned about the master orators. What makes a person? We are not born speakers, we are made speakers. Most of us, except a few, right? So he talked about master orators, and he said that quality reception is the one ingredient which is surely going to make you a good speaker. So quality listening. Then he talked about quality reading. I read a lot of books. What books? When it comes to expressing your ideas, you are nil batta sannata. So that shouldn't be the thing. So you should read quality books. Further, he talked about go on feeding your mind with a number of ideas. How? Through the receptive skills called listening and reading. Because he said that, like our body needs nutrients, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, so does our brain also, in order to become a good speaker. Variety of books should be on your shelves. Further, he said that in order to have a better understanding of the socio-economic political scenario, again, we have to read a lot. add variety to our reading. Then he talked about another aspect, that is quality referencing, giving the example of collocations. Collocations, he said that, like with add look into, with look, which other prepositions can go? Look into, look for, right? Look after. So he said that choose a quality referencing material, and he gave the example of YOUR''S. Most of the students make this mistake. Yours obediently, which actually means your is obediently, and there is no word like your is obediently. So one should be conscious of the reading material. Make books your friends, you know, because all friends are going to leave you, but books are not going to leave you till your grave. That is the fact of life. Then he also talked about the Gospel or the Bible of Grammar, Renan Martin, the most loved books, the most loved grammar book. So, and he said, he talked that the children of today's generation, they use the primary sources. That is, they watch Hollywood movies with captions, Bollywood movies, Netflix, etc. So they have better choice of words, and they have better options to learn in a good way. And then he also talked about what you call it, quality listening responses. I've written such a lot. This one session won't suffice for me to bring out the things Jeevan sir has told us. So he also talked about quality listening responses, because the kind of response matters a lot. Like in the class itself, it happens. Jeevan sir, I'm taking the attendance. Jeevan sir, present ma'am. Jeevan sir, present ma'am. It makes a difference. Quality response matters a lot. So you have to be short in your response, but I cannot be short in my summarizing. So short responses, how you're going to express agreement, how you're going to make apologies, exclamation, all matters a lot. And towards the end, he said that you need to know the occasion where you are using, and that is going to that will help you decide like what words are to be used, how formal and informal you'll go with the other person. I can't say yup to Jeevan sir, yup. Okay, so and who's your target audience? You have to be very choosy in the usage of words. And how your content will be, it depends upon the age, the gender, the economic, social, and religious status of the audiences. The wavelength of the audience should match with your content, should match with it. And then he also gave the example of sit, take your seat. I request the honorable dignitaries to take their place on the dais. So for this, intonation also matters, the rise and fall of sound. Give me your book. Please give me your book. It makes a hell lot of difference. And this is what is called communication. It is either going to make relations or mar relations. So always work on making relations, not severing relations. And then communication to be effective, he said that you have to make use of 5 P's. What are those 5 P's? Plan, prepare, practice, perform. Post performance assessment. So these are the 5 P's: plan, prepare, practice, perform. Post performance, that is self assessment, feedback. Howsoever good a speaker is. May I, madam? How good a speaker you are. After the session, you'll surely ask someone. Jeevan sir is surely going to ask his wife, na, after the session, "Main kaisa bola? Kaisa tha mera presentation?" So this is there. So self-assessment is needed. Even Modi ji must be asking his secretary or whosoever, right? And towards the end, he said that communication should work for win-win situations. Be proactive communicator. Practice empathy, that is the 7 C's of communication. And above all, wear confidence. You may not be knowing anything, but if you speak with confidence, it's a win-win situation for you. So the focal point he emphasized was practice to become a good listener. So this is all from my side, Jeevan sir. Very enriching, enlightening. My communication has now become my strength also, like you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seema ma'am. And this is what ISPEL is all about, knowledge, knowledge, and only knowledge. And the way you have sum up, Aurora ma'am, shows your par excellency.
Thank
It was
you. Thank
like
you so much.
another session we were listening. We were enjoying summarizing Jeevan sir's session in such a wonderful manner. Thank you, Seema ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Pleasure is mine.
Uh, Madam
Yes, sir.
Moderator, if there is a kind of space for me to speak few lines.
Yes, sir.
uh, if such remarks come from the likes of Seema ma'am or Nilu ma'am, it's really a blessing for me. I have a lot of takeaway with me, and I'm blessed with your words. And this is again like Seema ma'am displayed or exhibited how a wonderful listener can be. So I learned
Thank
one
you.
very great takeaway from you, ma'am. I would be a still better listener. Though I am a good listener, but now you showed me that you are far more superior. So you had a rejig of my entire presentation with some added, values. So it was a kind of really wonderful experience for me. And thank you, Nilu ma'am, also for your remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, Nilu ma'am.
Yes, we have the president of ISPEL, Dr. Harpreet Kaur Garcha, with us. She was, I think, engaged in her college affairs. Ma'am, we welcome you in this Saturday intellectual meet. Garcha ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I'm very much there. I'm
Yes.
sorry I was a bit late in the beginning because I had certain,
Mhm.
an emergency meeting was held in the college. So I
Yes.
couldn't be there in the beginning.
Yes, ma'am. But it was a wonderful
And
deliverance by Jeevan sir, and
uh,
very, very enlightening and very, very thought provoking, ma'am.
Archana ma'am really very sturdily held the for Jeevan's deliberation was wonderful, and it was really enlightening and very engaging. Uh, and Seema ma'am beautifully summed up the session. So now next, may I request Indrani ma'am to flash the certificates as a token of appreciation. Indrani ma'am. Yes, this certificate of appreciation is for our keynote speaker today, whose deliberation were very engaging and very enlightening. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeevan, for being on the platform with us. We are really obliged. And this is a token of appreciation for your professional competence and expertise. Please accept it, sir. Dr.
Thank
Jeevan,
you
sir,
very much.
please
It's
accept
an
this token of
privilege.
appreciation.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. It's an honor for me.
And, sir, the honor and the pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much. We are really privileged to have you over here. And this next, this certificate of appreciation goes to Dr. Seema Arora, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You have really beautifully summed up the whole thing. You have beautifully added your own inputs, very insightful and thought-provoking inputs which you have added to the what Dr. Jeevan had to say. It was beautifully summed up. Thank you, ma'am. This is
Thank you so
again
much.
a token of appreciation uh, for your expertise and beautifully summing up the session.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am,
Thank you
for
so much.
being
I'm
with us.
really privileged. I'm privileged. Thank you so much.
And I'm grateful to you, ma'am, because you were so busy in spite of the change in the schedule and the time. You still were with us and you really
Thank you.
supported us. Thank you, ma'am. It was great.
Thank you, ma'am.
This token of appreciation is for Miss Srishti Sharma. Srishti Sharma has been a student of mine and she's been my associate also. And Srishti, you have very beautifully sailed the boat right from the beginning till the end, very smoothly. And this token of appreciation goes to you for smooth sailing of the event. Beautifully done. Thank you.
Thank you,
Srishti.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Next, this token of appreciation goes to Dr. Neelu Srivastava. Dr. Neelu Srivastava has coordinated both the events of this month, and ma'am meticulously coordinated events. It's really a tough task, coordinating things and getting the speaker, getting the MOCs and the chairperson, and so many other loose ends to tie up. You have really meticulously coordinated both the events, ma'am. And thank you
Ma'am,
so
it
much
could
for
not
your support.
It could not have been done without your support and guidance, ma'am. It was under your guidance that it was done.
No,
Thank you so much.
ma'am, it's all your effort. It's all your effort. And thank you so much for your support and for encouraging and promoting ISPEL. Thank you, ma'am. Now, may I request Srishti to render a vote of thanks?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And
Well,
just sorry for the interruption, and just
No.
one last comment. I'm grateful to Nurul as well as Indrani for the technical support, because without the technical support, it is very difficult to conduct such virtual seminars and webinars. So for the technical support, I'm very grateful and obliged to Indrani Borkar and our PRO, Nurul Huda. So my gratitude to them, and over to you, Srishti.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Every time I join the sessions, I feel that I just like an empty pot, and whenever I listen to all my mentors, I feel so enlightened, and I think that this is something that ISPEL teaches. So, shall I proceed for a conclusion?
Yes, Shrishti, sure.
Okay. Thankful to our keynote speaker, Jeevan sir, for such engaging session. Your command over the topic and language showed your excellency. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time. Thank you so much. It was very enlightening session. Thankful to Seema Arora ma'am. Your grace, your presence made today's even more gracious. And I would like to add one more thing, that you have a keen eye. You haven't missed any of the point that Jeevan sir has explained in his lecture. Then thankful to Neelu Srivastava ma'am for being so supportive and a great mentor of all time. Thank you so much, and thankful to entire fraternity of ISPEL for being so supportive, including Indrani ma'am, Garcha ma'am, Archana Singh ma'am, Kirti Tiwari ma'am, and of course Ghanshyam sir. Today I'm missing him. That I think he is not present among us, but his blessings are always with us, and he's the only person who makes all of us to be in the same platform all the time. So thankful to all the mentors, thankful to all the dignitaries for today's event. Thank you so much.
I'm always there, invisibly visible.
Okay, sorry, sir. I even know you are here. Waiting for your voice.
Sir is always anonymous.
Welcome,
Anonymous
sir.
entry.
Ghanshyam sir, we welcome you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Joining ISPEL is always
to
a
have you
pleasure
here.
for me. And moreover, the events They are the part and parcel of everyone's life, and that must be understood by each and everyone, including the students and the faculty members. And the colleges which have been going for NAC, and the colleges which have completed NAC must make it a mandatory thing for the students to join these programs, and the faculty members must take greater initiative in this, because this is the world wherein communication technology is invading each one of us. And if we are not going to help the students, if we are not going to motivate, elevate, and facilitate them, then these students are going to face a lot of challenges in the years to come. And it doesn't mean that only knowing the technology, knowing the information is more important, but what is more important more important is in this flood of information, which information to be taken into consideration and which not. So do's and don'ts are there, and that's why, being the teachers, we must use the emotional quotient with the social quotient, not only the intelligent quotient which is available in this highly technological world wherein AI is leading everywhere, artificial intelligence. But we are the natural intelligent people. We are not the artificial ones. So let us all make the students understand that it's not running behind the artificial intelligence, which is all the time important in the software and hardware world, but what remains and what goes and what leads and what makes us to understand is the human way, which we are not touching. We are touching only the hardware and the software, not the human way. So there the communication comes, there the caliber of an individual comes, there competency comes, there communication leads. So that's why communication must become the cup of tea for each and everyone. So that's why I request all the teachers, those who are there on the platform of iSpell, and even the students also, because once we make the students to understand that, then only the students will be able to move forward. And it's tough, I know that. When going gets tough, it's tough which gets going. So let us make it a practice of bringing the tough and making it simple, rather than bringing the simple and making it tough. So that's the thing what I wanted to say. So thank you very much for giving me time to speak. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Saga, for doing the honors on the platform of iSpell. Your name says you are Jeevan, so life is everywhere with you.
Thank you very much, sir. This word of appreciation from you is a blessing for me. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Srishti. Please
Thank
carry
you,
on.
sir. Yeah, thank you so much. Neelu ma'am?
Yes, Shrishti.
Uh,
Yes, you can carry on with the vote of thanks. You were conducting that.
um, so I would like to thank entire team, entire fraternity of iSpell, from our president to our conveners, our patron, and each one who were present with us today. So I think this is from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, Jeevan sir, and all the dignitaries who are present over here. And now we end this session for today. And good night to all.